In tonight's presentation, I think we're going to have so much fun because you're going to have the opportunity to experience the energies of some different gemstones. These were ones that Carrie Ann and I, we went into our vault and we were just trying to tune in. What would we might want to use if we wanted to just open a whole new chapter in our lives and pursue something that maybe we've been having on the back burner for a while, something that we know needs to be addressed but just hasn't quite been in the forefront. And I can tell you why. And the reason is because a lot of the things that we struggle with, the nourishment that we need to resolve them doesn't necessarily come from physical sources. I mean, you can get some support with good diet, good water, cleaner air, herbal and alternative methods, and so forth. But what the gemstones offer is something completely unique because they offer nourishment that reaches beyond the physical. It includes the physical, but it reaches beyond that into the realm of our emotions, memories, mind, even our intuition. They work with the flows that, well, I like to say that life is movement. Movement is life. If you have things that are moving, well, you're alive. When things stop moving, it's another story. So keeping the flows going is just so important. So from that kind of a perspective, we asked that question, and these were the gemstones that came forward. So what I'd like to do tonight is invite you to just maybe go into a restful contemplative mode and sit back and receive, because I'm going to be bringing different gemstones into our session space. You're welcome to just be a fly on the wall and just observe, or you're welcome to receive as much as you can or as much as you want to, even just observing how things shift within yourself as different gemstones come out. And in a couple of cases, I have different sizes and lengths and so forth, qualities, just because that can make such an interesting difference. Sometimes bigger is better, and sometimes maybe not so much. It really depends on you. It really depends on your energetic makeup. It's one of the reasons why we like to offer the concierge service, so you have an opportunity to sense different stones. But here is an opportunity a little bit different than that because we're in a group, and enjoy it. So I'd like to just move us into a session space. I'd like to declare that space to be safe and clear and open and rich with the experience. The chance to just settle your energies and to see what comes forward. In my private sessions, I also invite people to tune in to their inner guides and guardian angels and so forth to help them with their experience of the session, if they want to. I also like to acknowledge the sea of blessings that we live within, the resources. And that includes the resources of the gems. And then I also like to just surrender the outcome, because I have no other intentions than to introduce you to these stones. And so if you might imagine a new you to be one where your mind is more at rest and more at peace, You might find a great deal of support with a formula of gemstones that we call tranquility. These are nourishing, especially for the mental body, the mind, consisting of blue chalcedony, blue sapphire, and blue topaz. And we work with gemstones in spherical form that we can wear around our neck so they can radiate throughout your body and aura for maximum benefit. There's also bracelet options. But imagine these gems just surrounding you, feeding your mental body and allowing it to rest. You can't eat very well when you're running. And if the mind is running, it's not able to get the nourishment that it might need. So give it a chance to take a rest. In this demonstration, you can also use your breath work. When you breathe in, you can receive the gemstone energies that have become rich within our space here. And then on the exhale, let go of what might stand in your way of receiving the benefits of these gems. This is an example of where I have two sizes. This is an 8mm, and this is 6mm. Here's the 8mm again. All right, gratitude to the gems. Now let's move on to lapis. This is 6mm lapis. This is lapis lazuli. We pair it with pyrite. And the lapis is going to be supporting your mind and your heart and your gut to speak the same language, you might say. When you feel something is right and you feel it in your heart and your mind argues, they're not on the same wavelength. And the gut feeling that someone gets, sometimes you feel it in your gut. But what if that signal, that knowingness that you have, that inner knowing, spoke equally with your mind, your heart, and your gut? These gems can help regulate and homogenize that. And the pyrite gives it like a spark. It's an important part of the formula. So breathe that in. And so if the new you for the new year requires a better sense of communication, that inner knowingness, this might be the tool to help you achieve that. Okay, gratitude to the gems. Right. This is blue lace agate. So let's say that you're a person who carries some regret. You look back and gosh, you wish you had done this or that. And there's a part of you that often thinks back, gosh, if only I had done that, what would my life be like now? Those offshoots are clutter in your causal body, in your memory body. This idea of living in the multi-universe, no. From what I understand about how the subtle bodies work, every choice we make should shed a huge number of possibilities, especially the big choices. And each time we make a clear choice, shed those possibilities, our future becomes clearer. We're more likely to know how to move ahead and where to move ahead, what we want to do to move ahead. There's so many things I could say about all the stones, but I'm trying to keep it just really simple. And a key benefit. Not very many things can help us let go of regret in a mechanical, energetic way. All right, I'll explain a little bit about how that works because I could explain this about all the stones. Blue lace agate has a way of improving and strengthening the flows that move between our body, our emotions, our memory, our mind, our intuition, like back and forth. And these flows should occur in a rhythmic way. And when there is a division, I choose to go in this direction rather than this direction, and I make that clear choice, my energy field readjusts to that choice, and that flow can move back and forth, sharing information about how I truly think and feel with the rest of me. If I regret a choice, then I have energy moving back and forth this way, but simultaneously energy moving back and forth this way, and they create interference patterns. I have the waves going this way, I have the waves going this way, and there's an interference. It creates disharmony, creates distraction, and it holds us back. So when we choose to wear a necklace like this, gemstones, healing stones, blue lace agate and white beryl, you're saying, I want to clarify these waves. I want to be responsible for the choices I've made and let go the regrets. Gratitude to these gemstones. And speaking about flows, there are also flows that move up and down the body. Move up and down the body, and the purpose of that flow is to take memories and move them where they belong. This is malachite with sunstone. When something happens in our life, when we experience something, we create a memory. And if that memory has emotion attached to it, it tends to get stuck somewhere in our body. Whenever you think of a certain experience, maybe a difficult one, you might actually feel it somewhere in your body. And a lot of times you can't feel it. It's within organs, it's within our tissues. And memories, they can also weigh us down when they're stuck in our body. They belong in our memory body. Our physical energies, our physical metabolic processes need to take place in our physical body. We store nutrients, but we should not be storing memories. We should store memories in the memory closet. We should store our emotions in the emotion closet. And of course, we can access them at any time, but when they're in the body, they can interfere with our physical function. So here's a gem. You might even feel the movement of this up and down. The flows of this gem scout for memories, even ones that are tucked away, and help move them where they're supposed to be stored. That's in our memory body. Now, malachite it has a lot of weight to it. Let's see, I have another malachite here. This is a 6 millimeter, the other was 10. What's really interesting that if a necklace feels heavy in the beginning, it may not be quite right for you. But what's also interesting is that if it is right for you, it's not going to feel heavy. None of these will feel heavy if they're right for you. And then toward the end of the day, all of a sudden, they may feel heavy, but that's because they need to be cleansed. They've absorbed the unwanted energies from your body that are preventing their energies from feeding you. It's as if the gems say, you chose this, you want these energies, okay? Well, then you have to let go of the ones that are preventing them from coming in. And so there's this beautiful exchange between the gemstones and yourself, and that's why the gems have to be cleansed. So there's more room for them to do their work. So that's malachite and sunstone. So if this is a year for you to let go of those nagging memories, those painful memories, this might be a tool for you. If those memories are primarily rooted in the emotional body, if they're primarily emotions, we have rose quartz with red spinel. And this is the sample that seemed to want to come into this meeting tonight, this demonstration. These are rose quartz. We call it rosolite because it is rose quartz, but it glows. And it glows in the way that, and it has this clarity that the cutters felt the best way to express the gem's beauty was to make it into rondelles, and likely because the crystals were very small. And we pair rose quartz with red spinel, and that's for a really important reason. If you were to wear a rose quartz necklace just by itself, the rose quartz would say, let go, let go, let go, let go, let go. And you're like exhausted. I can't let go anymore. It becomes too much. The emotion gets caught in your heart or in your throat, and you feel like you're being choked. The red spinel says, let's take this in a rhythmic way. You let go a little bit, and then you rest. You let go a little bit more, and then you rest. Rose quartz has a very strong, you might say, a very clear affinity with emotions, but emotions that are in the body, especially in the muscles. If you have tight muscles, crampy muscles, if your shoulders have moved up like this, you feel, especially in your neck and muscles, there's very likely emotion that's being held. Emotion doesn't belong stored in the physical body, it belongs stored in the emotional body and retrieved when you need it. Just like memories, they're retrieved when you need it, but we don't store them here. And so if who you imagine the new you is one that is free of these stored emotions, this might be a tool for you. Just breathe it in. It's possible, not inevitable, but it's possible that one of the necklaces I'm showing you is going to just affect you in such a way that you realize, I can work with this. This can really help me. You may not even realize that you have stuck memories or stuck emotions, or misplaced, actually, more accurately, until you feel the remedy. When you feel the remedy, it's like, oh my gosh, I can do this. I can take that step. Because finally you have a resource that can lead you through it. Okay, gratitude to the rose quartz. We have 4 different necklaces of leopard skin jasper. And I'm going to just start with this one. This is a yellowish kind. Leopard skin jasper helps you to regulate those mechanisms that allow you to receive what it is that you need and let go what you don't. It's like getting her ducks in a row so that you can then take a step. It's as though our being consists of many doors. And in order to receive something that you want, all those doors have to open at the same time. And leopard skin jasper helps those doors to coordinate. So 4 different types, colorations, and this will be an exercise to help you notice which one may help those doors become more coordinated. Because what's also interesting, you might think you want something, and then you wear a tool such as this, and it says, sure, let's coordinate all the doors, and all the doors get lined up. It's like, oh my gosh, I don't want that. I don't want that anymore. And you can make a choice because the leopard skin jasper has given you that nourishment that you need to get all your doors coordinated before you're stuck with a decision. So this is the golden one. We have one that has small marks of a darker red in them, in the beads. The rest is somewhat of a grayish nature. These are all 8 millimeter. So they're all basically the same except for their coloration. And I'm going to, as soon as I show you this next one, I'm going to ask you if you can feel the difference. So see if you can. And this one is like a mixture of gold and gray. We pair all of our leopard skin jasper, but the peach aventurine helps you to, you might say, digest what you bring in. Did you notice a difference between the vibrations or the sense of the different leopard skins? I'm also asking you as a way for you to move from the state within yourself to have an outflow. And if you don't feel like writing anything in the chat box, just kind of look around the room a little bit and feel your feet on the floor. Get yourself a little more connected. Someone noticed them in different parts of their body. One felt more powerful to someone. Someone felt a strong wave with a reddish one. A definite difference. An animal emergency with cats. Oh gosh. The animals definitely respond to the gemstones. I've had clients who, during the session, their cat will come over and sit on their lap, and then as soon as the session's over, cat goes, leaves. Or when I give an animal a session, they'll sit so quietly. And then as soon as the connection is complete, they're up, they're done. It's just really interesting. Yeah, thank you for sharing. Yeah, different people are feeling different ones more than another. Yeah. Very common. And also, don't feel excluded if you're not feeling the difference. Okay? It's a skill. Just like if you're taking music lessons, you develop your ear. It takes time. When we were in, first grade and we were learning to write, it took a while to get the letters. It's a skill. It's also like a muscle that develops with use. Your sensitivities. And in fact, moving back into our session space, I'm going to bring in, this is our lightning formula. It's with lilac quartz, or scorzolite, another name for it, clear topaz, and amethyst. And if the new you, if you envision the new you to be more perceptive and receptive of your extrasensory abilities, because everyone has them. Nobody is that stuck in their physical body or consciousness that they can't develop or recognize their extrasensory capabilities. And it can come in different ways. Everyone experiences their energies, their inner energetic self, their emotions, memories, mind, intuition in a unique way. But these gems can support that. Now, these are 8mm. Someone mentioned they're validating. Yeah, you're not crazy. These things start opening up for you, and you're not sure what to do with them. If you're going nuts, if you're losing your mind. Now, mental illness aside, that is a thing, and that's completely outside the scope of diamond and gemstone therapy and the work we do here. But if suddenly you start recognizing that in a healthy way, things start waking up for you, intuition becomes more real. Here's a different form of the scorzolite. These also have this glow factor in the crystal and were made into rondelles to emphasize that glowiness. And the way these gems work is that lilac quartz has an affinity with I'll just say it and then I'll explain it, with the superphysical DNA. So you have your physical DNA that essentially guides your physical function, but that DNA has like a third strand, which is energetic, which can help wake up the latent parts of your brain. It's required to, actually. They go hand in hand. And when that happens, you find you have new and different abilities. So just breathe this in. As you do, notice it may migrate to different parts inside your body, maybe even your brain or different areas. And I know I've been speaking about general intuitive abilities, but also your organs and tissues can wake up to new ways to function that they didn't think they were able to do. I do believe that DNA has a self-repairing capability given the proper nourishment. It's not finite. Gratitude to the gems. Okay, taking a different shift here. Something completely different. This is rutilated quartz with spessartite. If the new you in the new year is a person who more easily and wisely expresses themselves, is not afraid to speak when it is appropriate to say something, to better be able to know when to speak and when to keep your silence, but also to reach a wider audience with what you do have to say. Rutilated quartz builds bridges for the message, the vibrations, the frequencies of what you say or sing or write or teach to move into the world. It's personal bridges between you as a sender of a message and those beings who need to receive it, because what you have to say is important and nourishing and can be a gift in some way, can be helpful in some way. Now, sometimes speaking one's own needs can be scary, and that's why we have, or one of the reasons for the spessartite, Spessartite not only has a tendency to reach, but specifically reaching into our memories, and that helps bring forward, well, why do you want to say what you have to say? And in what cases was it not a good idea to say what you want to say? And then reconcile them with the present. Because if your fear was from long ago, it may not be pertinent here. And if you're holding that fear, your message is getting bottled up and it's preventing energies from flowing. Spessartite with rutilated quartz is going to help you free that up. Now let's try this with a much smaller millimeter size. This is also a longer one. 6 millimeter. It's a lot gentler, this one, isn't it? It's like a little nudge, where the other one was kind of like a kick in the pants. And so I would summarize this as being preferable for self-healing, helping yourself to express in a safe way, whereas the bigger one are for those teachers, instructors, creative artists, so forth, that want to get their message out to a wider audience and build bridges to those who would be uplifted by hearing what you have to say or sing or write. You're welcome to enjoy these energies for just another minute or so. Gratitude to the gemstones. Okay, so let's say your energies are scattered and jumpy, and it could be physical energies, it could be emotional, mental. You have this sense of just scatteredness. I know I do. It's one of the reasons that I wear jade a lot. And this one is Siberian jade. What jade does is help collect your energy. It strengthens the centripetal flow, which is the flow that moves toward you. Whereas aging and illness strengthen actually the centrifugal flow, which means things flow away from you. We expand in a way that brings more space into our cells, and so it's more difficult for energies to be collected. Staying as youthful as you can, in other words, one of the things you want to do is to be able to keep your energies contained. You don't want them flying away, flying apart, because then unwanted energies can come in those spaces. That's the bottom line. When we've suffered an illness, that's another time when our energies can be scattered. We haven't been able to find Siberian jade, since the conflict in Europe. Sources have dried up. I hear rumors that there may be a stash yet in China that we may have access to one of these days. We'll see. And this is Canadian jade, particularly fine quality because of the homogeneity of the color. It's a deep forest color. Tends to be a lot more affordable. I know it's apples and oranges because one is like a 6 millimeter and one's or 9, I think, millimeter. But Siberian also has a chatoyant quality, which means that the fibers of the jade are lined up in such a way that they have a particular play with light. And here's the Canadian again. The Gemstone Kingdom also offers particular gemstones that have a vitalizing effect for different systems in our body. And the jade has a vitalizing support for the fascia system, likely because this gemstone is not made of crystals. It's not crystalline like quartz. It's actually made of fibers, very similar to the fibers of our fascia. It's the fascia system. There's gems that have a particular affinity with the circulatory system. This is some brand new dumortierite with carnelian. I don't know if you can see how bright blue these dumortierite are. They're almost, they're not as bright as the lapis. Here's the lapis. Kind of tell the difference, but very close. This is actually extraordinary lapis. The lapis vendor has asked if he could buy back everything he sold to us, because he can't get lapis out of Afghanistan anymore. And that's where it comes from. Political reasons, unfortunately. But dumortierite supports the energetic structure of the vessels, and the carnelian supports the flow and the vitality of the blood. And so together, these are just a wonderful pair for supporting strength in the circulatory system. Now, we think of circulatory system in terms of blood vessels, but we also have the channels that move energy in our body. The obvious one are the acupuncture meridians. They also have a casing or a container, and then the flow that's within them. Gratitude to the gemstones. Yeah, this is our living river, and this is an extraordinary quality. It's just so clean. I haven't even graded these yet, but it looks like the clarity is just pristine. Absolutely pristine. I have two versions of this. This one's a little darker, and the other one I'm going to show you is a little bit lighter. So here's your opportunity to see if there's a difference for you. Maybe, maybe not. We call this living river because it has a lot to do with flows, particularly of the urinary bladder system. So those who tend to have a buildup of congestion in the urinary bladder that tends to perhaps cause infections frequently. Also working with the reproductive organs, various kinds of energy buildup that can interfere with proper function. Here are gemstones that help free and support the downward flow. The downward flow. So think of chronic nausea, that's energy trying to go up. Or cough, energy's trying to go up. or headaches, energy stuck up in the head. And here's a gemstone that can help move it down. Move it down the torso, down the body. You can use the gems to relieve excess energy in the upper body, but also nourish organs in the lower body, and particularly urinary bladder and reproductive organs. Go ahead and tune into those. The carnelian and the citrine be about the same in both samples. Here's the other one. So you might also notice a relief of some kind of pressure that may be in your upper body somewhere. So someone notes that they found some stuck energy in the back of their throat. Interesting. So give it a little more time and invite this energy to the back of your throat. See if it can help you find a pathway for it to move down or become unstuck. Gratitude to the gemstones. This is one of our favorites. It's the core 4. It consists of a gemstone that's actually called apatite. It is the same mineral, the hydroxyapatite, that we actually find in our bones. Not surprising that this combination supports the skeletal system. The indigo in the back here is the color ray that supports healthy bones and skeletal system. The white coral and freshwater pearl support healthy energies in the joints, keeping those energies moving and flushed and hydrated. Some people wear these gemstones to support imbalances that may be going on in the teeth and the jaw. By vitalizing this particular system, more energies can move through it, and as energy flows, stagnant energy is released, unhealthy energy is released, the nourishing gemstone energy is there, plus calling in the body's own healing energy. And you can get some relief that isn't available from any other source than the mineral kingdom, the gemstone kingdom. Someone asked if it would help the marrow. Well, the thing is, when you vitalize the bone, the surrounding ligaments and tendons and even muscle are going to be vitalized as well. The marrow is going to be better supported and vitalized. If you uplift in the body is so interconnected. Okay? If you uplift one area, other areas can be uplifted too. Not necessarily directly, but indirectly. By matter of proximity. Someone writes in the chat box, Core 4 is my don't mess with me necklace. I can see that. as your structure improves, your sense of place in this world can become more clear and you can be more confident. I get that. But thank you for sharing. Gratitude to the gemstone. I've got, actually, I have two more. I'm going to start with, this is a new blue sapphire and white beryl. We intermix, alternate white beryl with blue sapphire to breathe in white light, you might say, to help flows with the blue sapphire, to help ease congestion in the blue ray and those areas where the blue ray nourishes. I love blue sapphire not only for the way it nourishes my mind, but it helps me think in a more organized way. This is one that I will often wear when I'm writing or when I have to make some decisions. So feel welcome to tune into the blue sapphire. In sessions, I notice that the blue ray often comes in. Blue sapphire will come in when any part of the body has become disorganized. Every part of your body is fed by all 7 colors in the spectrum. Certain parts are nourished by a spectrum that dominates in blue. The vessel walls, cell membranes, the sensory organs, all are fed by spectrums that dominate in blue. Your mental body loves blue. If you have a diet that is too much sugars and carbohydrates, that can cause an excess in blue and actually make you crave more, because that blue feeds the fungi, the candida in your gut, upsets the microbiome, and they say, oh, blue, we want more blue, more blue, more blue, and you are craving sweets and carbs. One of the reasons for the white beryl, let's break up this cycle. Let's feed that candida with all the blue ray at once from the gems and not from your diet, which gives you the freedom to make different choices. Blue ray supporting your mental function, all ties in together. It's pretty interesting. Okay. So gratitude to those gemstones. The last one, we also have some new harmonies coming. This is one of them. Harmony is a combination of frosted quartz and clear quartz. It's supportive for the respiratory system. And we call it harmony because it has this wonderful way of just helping things balance out. If your life is just one extreme after another, I'm not making those gems move. They move on their own. Something like this can help balance those extremes. It balances the yin and the yang, so to speak, which play a particular role in respiratory health. We're breathing in and we're exhaling. You're welcome to invite the energies of these stones into your body and being. Not by drawing them in, just by sitting back and receiving. There's a difference. We're receiving what they have to give, which is rather unlimited, but it's more respectful that way. So if the new you is one who lives more on an even keel and is less prone to extremes, this might be the tool to help you get there. It's also good for energetic first aid. When you have an injury, absolutely, there are first aid measures. You call 911 if it's that bad. You take care of what physically needs to be done. But then, when you've exhausted physical remedies, then you can support an injury with an energetic first aid, which is a necklace like this over the injured area. Because it brings so much of the white light of a form that is particularly supportive of the body. I'd like to invite you to reconnect with your body, feet on the floor, allowing the memories of your experience and all that you felt and learned, and all the shifts that may have occurred while experiencing these gems to become integrated, to become a part of your new reality in this moment. And just feeling the gratitude for the blessing of the experience within yourself is another way to integrate and receive what you have just experienced. You take a deep breath. And that would conclude the presentation for this evening. So we have a few minutes left. If there are any other questions or comments or anything you'd like to share about your gem experiences, you can either raise your hand or write in the chat box. Someone writes, "Thank you, that was powerful. I had such a strong experience, especially with lightning and rutilated quartz. They both resonated and I felt beginnings of some deep shifts." Yes. I hear my body's loud and clear asking for more of those two formulas. Very thankful to know this and very thankful to the experience tonight. What a blessing. Thank you so much for sharing these gems and all the insight and good information. Oh, you're so welcome. If you're new here, we do offer classes. For the first time, we're going to be having some in-person classes this spring. Some are in Connecticut, or we have a couple in Connecticut and in Portland, Oregon. Oh, someone really responded to the Canadian jade. Nice. Thank you. Isn't that interesting how certain of these sources of life energy are better tuned to us than others? Now for me, I'm bringing this in and it doesn't come in at all. It just doesn't. It's not for me. Jade, of course. Jade slides right in. It's just drawn to me like I'm drawn to it. It's just me. I just love jade. Can't get enough of it. have a wonderful evening. Thank you, especially to those in Europe who came tonight, for it must be middle of the night for you. So thank you so much for staying up late. And, the European insomniacs, right, come to my classes in the evening. Oh, it's 3:25. Oh my gosh. Yeah, thank you. Well, thank you so much for spending some time with me. Okay, everyone. Well, bye-bye for now.